What's up, YouTubers? I'm here to quickly talk to you about an assignment that I currently have for my current course or class, whatever you want to call it, which is literary techniques and story development. I fumbled that word many times before. This is like the third time I've recorded this. Anyway, so basically this assignment, which is called the Creative Starter, basically there's an assignment where you could choose any form of entertainment that you desire, story-wise, movie, video game, short story, novel, whatever. And then it's basically something that you will continue to work on after the actual course is over. So for example, if you decide to write a novel, then you'll probably more than likely produce the first chapter in that novel and then continue to work on this novel after the fact. Well, as some of you already know, in a previous video that I did in a course called Visual Thinking and Writing, I did a 5-minute screenplay that I called The Waking Dead. I played on this because of the most cliched aspect of just about almost every zombie movie and story I've read or watched on movie, television, whatever, and that is somebody waking up to the zombie apocalypse. So I played on that factor, and that's why I called my story The Waking Dead, because it also signified that the person that was waking up was going to die. And that's the basic premise behind this really quick. And real quickly, the 5-minute screenplay was a relatively simple. It takes place like in the real world. And I think that's like the biggest challenge, I should say, is having it take place in the real world, because there's a lot of people that utilize science to say how it wouldn't work out in the real world. So anyway, on to the subject. That was a quick explanation, real quick. So I turned in the first 4 pages of this, however long chapter it's going to be, the prologue. And the instructor, of course, basically came back and jotted down in the notes that he enjoyed it. There was some, grammatical errors and some incorrect word usage. So I was like, okay, well, that's really great, but I'm not a psychic. So I ended up sending him an email and basically telling him that. And he ultimately ended up sending me an actual, corrections with, all them lovely little red marks that you would see in high school. So that was pretty cool. And looking at it, the funny thing is that the majority of this really isn't grammar per se, but it's more or less incorrect word usage. The whole, present tense versus past tense. A sentence that may have a needless word in it, or a word that is, that could be better utilized instead of the word that I chose. So I thought that was pretty cool. Reading it, it's pretty much the same thing. For example, let me give you an example. In this particular sentence, I said, everyone knew her face, and she rode in on a pale horse that left a trail of death and sadness in her wake. He took out the word her and replaced it with it. Even though we described it as a her earlier, that's only because we're talking about an epidemic, and they called it Trixie because that happened to be the name of the first person that was infected with it. Her name was Trixie, so they just referred to it as that. So there was something like that, and I would have to say that it does make sense and sound a little bit better with the word it's as opposed to her. Another good example is in this particular sentence, it mattered not to her who she killed, but only how she could spread. Well, he ultimately changed it to, it mattered not to her who she killed, only how she could spread. And there's a hyphen that replaced the but. So, simple things that, I myself probably really wouldn't have caught, because I barely use dashes or hyphens. So I always have to grab a book to actually see if I should be using it here, if I shouldn't, that type of thing. And then there was just a few sections where I'm talking about the past, but my word usage makes it sound as if it's in the present. So, something as simple as adding the word had, to give the reader the idea that we're talking about something that took place in the past tense rather than the present tense. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, if I had to say anything, the only real downside is that, would he have done this if I wouldn't have mentioned it to him in the email? that you know, there's really no point in telling me, yo, you got some grammatical errors, as opposed to, you know, showing and explaining. That way there's some learning going on here. Maybe even just a refresher, maybe something that I forgot or haven't used in a long time, that type of thing. So overall, this project, this assignment, I really enjoy because I've been procrastinating on this story. I've been wanting to do it, to create an actual novel that actually is kind of, you could say, a spin-off of my 5-minute screenplay that I did in visual thinking and writing. And I'm relatively excited about this particular story and about that I'm actually starting it. And it's really nice that at the end of this course, I'll have at least a chapter, if not more, depending on how motivated and in-depth and ideas come to my head. But I'll still only be able to turn in one chapter because there's a page limit for the assignment within itself. So other than that, you know, it's a good assignment. I really do enjoy it. This is the kind of thing that I really enjoy, this kind of feedback. This is something that all the instructors should be doing. You know, a student really shouldn't have to email the instructor and be like, you know, there's something wrong going on here, all right? I mean, I'm really not going to learn anything if you're not really explaining it to me. That's the whole point of me taking the whole bachelor degree within itself, is to learn and improve the skills that I already have, or improve the skills that I already think I have, all right? And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is with proper feedback, not just on the writing level, but even on something as simple as a grammar and spelling level as well. Because I may go over the word a few times and not even notice that I spelled it incorrectly, or that, you know, the comma doesn't go where I put it, that type of thing. So I've really enjoyed this. I will be doing a video later that gives you more information into the realm of this novel that I'm working on. I hope you enjoyed this quick video, my thoughts, my opinion, and experience with this particular assignment called Creative Starter, which was done in, I believe, week 1. Week 2 is where we actually, week 4 is where we're actually going to do the other part of it, which is basically turn it into an entire chapter or whatever it is that you're doing. So I'll see you on the next video.